discovered from reading the national press last year that Anna was planning to get married. I thought I might have to say a few words when the big day arrived. And Dorothy very kindly emphasised the importance of the few. So first, let me thank you all for coming. It's wonderful to see everybody, especially those who have travelled long distances to be here. And I'm particularly delighted that my sister Jane and her granddaughter Jenny have been able to come all the way from California. Because they knew about Alan being significant long before we did. It's very good to see Pat and John again, and to meet other members of Alan's family. And I'd like to say too, because it's not always the case nowadays, how good it is to have the children here, especially in another room. But most especially, of course, those wonderful Constable girls, Ella, Casey, Maggie and Lucy. If, like me, you're unaccustomed to public speaking, you will know that Christopher and I find it very useful to be able to turn to the internet for help. And I'm indebted to weddingspeechbuilder.com for what follows. Especially the section headed, "The World's Largest Collection of Father of the Bride Speech Material." And I think I've now got to the bit which says, secondly, he compliments and praises the bride and welcomes her new husband into the family. But at that point I got timed out, and the computer said, to view any further examples and to have unlimited access to all areas of the Father of the Bride Centre, containing 2,000 example lines and 80 example speeches, you must purchase a Father of the Bride password at a cost of £10.99. If you already have a password, use the login on your left, otherwise get a password. So, how can I praise Anna? Strictly speaking, I acquired her with my wife. So, this gives me an opportunity to thank Dorothy for everything she's given me. She was complaining only the other day that the mother of the bride doesn't get much of a pass. So, thank you, Dorothy. But back to Anna. Perhaps, I hope her siblings will understand and forgive me if I say she's always been a bit special. It's hard to know which of my early memories of her would be safe to share on an occasion like this. Some of my first in-depth discussions with her took place at around 3 in the morning, when she would sit on the kitchen worktop in her Moonman suit, and I would suggest that it was bedtime, and she would suggest more milk. We sometimes compromised, she usually won. Anna always had a strong will and great charm. You only have to look at Maggie and Lucy to see the genes at work. When I saw how incredibly well disciplined some of the younger bridesmaids were during the ceremony, I couldn't help remembering that at my own wedding, all those years ago, Anna appeared in a rather scruffy tracksuit. And as she grew up, her siblings observed her changing enthusiasms with a mixture of admiration, envy, and horror. She was always very creative, my mother received a beautifully crafted gift with tassels which Anna had made for her. Only some weeks later did we discover that our best lampshade had been terminally modified. Anna was a child of sudden, striking enthusiasms, but they were not always sustained. For example, she couldn't wait to join Emma and Ben at school until she actually experienced it, at which point she went off it in a very big way for about 15 years. It was the same story with Brownie Camp, and then with university. But we always knew that the fickleness was just a stage, and when Anna was deciding to swap the security of deal or no deal for the uncertainties of the teaching profession, we knew that her decision was the right one for her and the family, and that it was evidence of the qualities of commitment, enthusiasm and care for others which we see and love in her. And to be honest, we always found that Noel Edmonds ever so slightly creepy. I mentioned earlier that when I first heard that Anna was going to get married, when I read in the paper after a tip-off from her Aunt Helen that I should read the Guardian family section, and it was in the days that followed that I was amazed to discover how many people read the Guardian. And were very moved by it. And if they were moved, you can imagine how I felt. It's strange enough having your 30-year-old photo displayed in every Pizza Express restaurant, but to have people come up to you and say, "Oh, you sound really nice," is even weirder. So, Alan, about this welcoming you into our family, I think I realised you were already there when we found ourselves, you and I, trying to reassemble that Wendy house that Anna had bought, like so much else, on eBay. But if a welcome is still required, Dorothy and I are delighted to have you as part of our family. You not only cope with Anna's bright ideas, you're a great cook, a superb photographer, and a wonderful dad. This has been a lovely day. Thank you all again very much for coming. And it only remains for me, because as you will have seen, there's a great deal of high-tech entertainment to follow the old-fashioned sort, to ask you to make sure that your glasses are charged so that I can invite you to join me in a toast to the happy couple. To Alan and Anna.